Alright people, welcome back to another video in our MITRE attack series. Today we are going to take a look at trusted relationships, T1199. So we continue this week the idea to cover the initial access techniques, and by now we have mostly covered, not all of them, but we covered some. And just let's continue to do that, since this week there are some initial access topics going on, and this React web server vulnerability, that's still something that will be part of this upcoming week. Today we have Sunday the 14th December, so for me that's usually a pretty good time to just sit down and casually read a little bit of MITRE attack together with you. But yeah, so let's go into reading mode here and let's read about trusted relationships. So first of all, we are here in the initial access phase of the kill chain. The platforms are cloud providers, so identity infrastructure as a service, identity provider, Linux, Office suite, software as a service, Windows and Mac OS. Contributors, we have Extra Hop, Janie Lee from Microsoft Red from Mystic team, and again Praetorian. So those are pretty qualitative sources. This Mystic team we have seen a lot, and Praetorian as well. Extra Hop I have never heard of. Okay, has been modified in November 2025. So that's even more recent than the others, which are most often from October. So let's see. Adversaries may breach or otherwise leverage organizations who have access to intended victims. Access through trusted party relationships, abuse an existing connection that may not be protected or receives less scrutiny than standard mechanisms of gaining access to a network. Yes, scrutiny. I'm not a native speaker, but that means just to put care into something. It has less care in the mechanisms too. And what they do here is they simply, what it says here, abuse existing connection. That's what they do. So they don't have to create a new one from an adversary perspective, but the attacker just can use what is already there. So organizations often grant elevated access to second or third parties, and that's what it is. Elevated access to second or third party external providers. That's what it is. And you do that so that these people can do their jobs, okay? It must be done oftentimes, but be careful with elevated access you provide. So in order to allow them to manage system, cloud-based environments, yes. Some examples of these relationships include IT service contractors, managed security providers, infrastructure contractors, yes. Physical security. Then the third-party providers' access may be intended to be limited to the infrastructure being maintained, but may exist in the same network as the rest of the enterprise, yes. And then as such, valid accounts used by the other third party for access to internal network systems may be compromised and used. Exactly. So this might be ridiculous, but what does this HVAC mean? I need to Google that real quick, because this is one of those words that, what does it even stands for? It is like HVAC. Yeah, so it's heating, ventilation, air conditioning. I was just wondering, it says elevators, physical security. Okay, so HVAC, it's just something that is related to physical stuff. Got it. In Stuxnet, they used HVAC to deactivate cooling systems, for example. Okay. Then in Office 365 environments, organizations may grant Microsoft partners or resellers delegated administrator permissions. By compromising a partner or reseller account, an adversary may be able to leverage existing delegated administrator relationships, yes, or send new delegated administrator offers to clients in order to gain administrative control over the victim tenant. And that's what it is. This is the last step, administrative control over the tenant, and that word gain we should mark as well. This is the last step in the kill chain, action on objective. That's what they want. Alright, so now we know a little bit about what it is. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next page where we read a little bit about the actors, the procedures that have been used. So I see some known ones already. Sandworm. Let me make this a little bigger here. There we go. That looks good. Alright, let's switch to reading mode again and take a look at who's participating there. So ATT&CK, I think we've seen them also already, gained access to the DCCC network, whatever that stands for. Okay, so I don't know what DCCC is. The group then processed the user access to compromise the DNC network. Okay, then Hafnium Sandworm team. Let's read those because the other ones I don't know. Has used dedicated network connections from one victim organization to gain unauthorized access to separate organization. Additionally, Sandworm team has accessed internet service providers and telecommunication entities that provide mobile connectivity. Alright, so yeah, so far so good. We have groups here. These are all groups, by the way. We didn't catch even one software. Yeah, and it doesn't exist in the procedure examples. Those are only groups, but there's no software for that. Well, alright then. Next step is to take a look at some mitigations. So mitigations and the detection this time is a little bit more to read, but mitigation is fairly little text this time. Alright, so let's take a look at this. How to mitigate. Obviously multi-factor authentication. Yes, so if you have two factors, you need the person physically needs to provide you with authentication, otherwise they don't get the MFA token. And then we have network segmentation. Again, if the third party has only access to a small part of the network, even if it's compromised, the damages can be limited. And the other thing at the end, user account management. Obviously, always know what permissions you granted to whom, and ask yourself, do they still need it, and when to revoke it. That's one way how to deal with it. Yeah, very good point. So there's nothing to add to this. It's just fine. And now let's take a look at detection strategy. So that is a lot to read. Let's see if we want to dig into that depth here, or if it's enough to just have a little bit of an overview. But let's see. So detect abuse of trusted relationships. So again, detection strategy is in case you have logging and monitoring in place. You have a SOC, a SIM system, EDR. That way you can detect stuff. So they have a behavioral chain, and we will mark that down because this is good with the numbers. You can see the pattern. First is a login. Okay. Second, session acquires elevated privileges. Okay. 3, subsequent lateral movement. And 4 doesn't exist here. It's always 1 to 3. Okay, so let's not. So first is a login from third-party account. Second, elevated privileges. Acquire elevated privileges. Okay, that's pretty good too. Like this. And third, lateral movement. They always want to move to a place where the real crown jewels are sitting. And now, over all of these behaviors, we don't read through all of them. For me right now, it's good to see that these 3 steps, they occur every time. Login, get some here sudo. Sudo stands for, well, it's a super user in Linux. And that's escalated privileges. And then access sensitive data. All right. What do we have at here? Third-party app admin connects. Second, high privileges. Scope granted. Third, anomalous actions, mass read, exports. Yeah, it's not always lateral movement. If it's already on the system where the data is, sure, access the data. Okay, so a lot to read, but the pattern is clear. That's what we want to figure out here. I think we got that. So no need to repeat 5 or 6 times or whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 7 times the same stuff. And now we can take a look at all of the references this time, because we have 22 and they fit on one page. That's good. It's a healthy amount of references. In our last video that we have seen, we had only 2, but here we have a healthy amount. That's good. So again, we have the CISA writing about this. Who else do we detect? Microsoft Threat Intelligence Center. Okay. Again, Microsoft and Mystic. PwC and BAE Systems, we have seen those. BAE Systems is a military equipment provider. FireEye we have here. What is this? United States District Court, Southern District of New York. That's unusual, at least. Let's mark it. That's unusual. Okay, so I don't expect some southern districts of New York to do anything on that matter, but let's see. Maybe that's a good source. And here again, US District Court, Southern, same thing, and they have some indictment, whatever that is. So let's see. We will read this at some point. And we can, again, we have Microsoft here, Cisco Talos Group. Yes, these guys, Talos, appears to be some elite Cisco security guys, same as Palo Alto Group 42. We don't have them here, but in other cases we had them. Okay, then we have again a combination of the US agencies here. CrowdStrike is there, Global Threat Intelligence Team, again Microsoft. Alright, but these two, Talos and this Court Southern District, catch my eye. These ones we might dig into. Obviously, let me know if some of these sources is interesting to you, and then we will look into that as well. But yeah, so far so good, right? So this is trusted relationships. I think we obtained a good understanding now what it is, what to look out for. We can locate it in the kill chain, initial access. We know some procedures, what these hacker groups have been doing in the past. Mitigations, so segment your network as usual, but user account management, that's the one that stands out here the most, I think. Then we have detection strategy for the SOC, a lot of content, but one clear pattern, 3 easy steps: log in, acquire elevated privileges, and then do lateral movement, or as we see in other cases, here's some massive exfiltration of data, here mass read and export. Yes, and then we know who are the actors on the research side of things. So we found some that catched my eye at least, so I will figure those one out at one of the later videos. So far so good then. As usual, thank you for watching. Thank you for spending time on cybersecurity. This is time very well spent in my view, and see you in the next video then. Goodbye.